Hi, thanks for joining me. This is Angie at ChicnScratch. This is the project we're making today. Okay, so the following video was filmed live. Feel free to fast forward, pause, or rewind. If you need anything, let me know, and I hope you enjoy the video. We are using the bundle today. So on Monday night, we made the Halloween version of this project. I'll go ahead and show it to you. Here it is. And then this morning, or this afternoon, we're gonna make a Christmas version of this same project, okay? So the other night, I said I was using this punch that goes with this stamp set, and I didn't, because it didn't work for me. But it's gonna work for the Christmas project that I'm making. So we are using the bundle. The supplies are right here. I have everything organized. Mossy Meadow, and that measures 6 by 4. 2 more pieces of Mossy Meadow that's like, what is it? Like, I just call them scraps, but they're technically like 3.5 by 3.5, or you can just use one long strip. I have 2 pieces of the Heartwarming Hugs Designer Series paper. Heartwarming Hugs. 2 3/4 by 2 3/4 and 3.5 by 1/2 inch. And some Whisper White. So back to the R's and the W's. So we have a butler's pantry in this house that I'm using as like a secondary office so I can do computer work and cook at the same time. And one of my friends called it the wine room. So we're gonna start calling it the wine room, except I struggle with my R's and W's. So yeah, we laugh every time I get those mixed up because it's like, okay, wine, I can't even do it. Yeah. Anyway, that's a little joke for y'all today. We're going to start by stamping. We're going to stamp this tree. I did have to re-ink my Mossy Meadow ink pad this morning. Beautiful. Nice and fresh. You can tell I haven't used this ink pad. It hasn't loosened up. Well, I have, but I've not used it as much as I should. Okay. What's this called? Essentials Tag Punch. Okay. There's that. Now, I'm going to take my retired paper piercer. I say retired because I really want to find my take your pick tool. I did look right before I went live, but that whatever box it's in, it's with my scissors. It's with all my special stuff. So I'm going to add 4 red rhinestones to this. And then, so that's the red rhinestones. And then now I'm going to take one of these Star Designer elements and add it to the top. I found my scoring tool, but I can't find my stylus. It's going to be like Christmas when I start finding all these things I'm missing. Okay, now we're going to take the Real Red braided linen trim. Let's see. This too is in the holiday catalog. I think I've used it a couple times. I could find my sew-in stuff. So yeah, my really nice expensive sew-in scissors. Now we're going to take a glue dot and we're going to add it right up here to the top. Ruh-roh. I almost untied my bow. Come here. Okay, now we're going to set that aside and we're going to take the scallop square die in the layering squares dies. And we're going to cut it out using the Stampin' Cut and Emboss. So we're going to start with a number 1, and then a 2, a 5, which is the magnetic cutting pad, self-healing. I've been using self-healing mats for cutting fabric forever and ever and ever. Well, I should say for 10 years. And yeah, they do self-heal. I can't explain the magic or how it works, but it works because I have not replaced any of my fabric cutting mats, if that makes sense. Someone asked what the material was. I don't know. Self-healing. Okay, there's the first one. Ellen, that is my chick stand. I sell those over on my website. That is one of the items that I sell actually on my blog. This right here. I also use it for needles when I'm sewing. Okay. Now we got these 2 pieces here. Bring these back over here. And now I'm going to take my trimmer, because I still haven't found my stylus for my Simply Scored scoring tool. I'm going to remove the dark blade so that I don't accidentally cut this thing. So there's that. So I'm going to take this 6x4 sheet of Mossy Meadow, and I'm going to place it on the portrait side, which is the 4-inch side, and I'm going to score it at 3/4. And then flip it and do it again at 3/4. And then on the landscape side, which is the 6-inch side, I'm going to score it at 2 5/8. And then flip it and do it again at 2 5/8. I'm actually working in front of the window, Stephanie. Yeah, I'm gonna create on the island, on the movable island. That's my creation station. And my video station is right here in front of the window. So I'm actually setting down, which I have discovered that I'm a little bit calmer and slower when I'm setting down. And I can't create very well setting, but I can do a video setting. Yeah, does that make sense? Because everything's already pre-planned and it's all ready. Okay, so I folded on the score lines, I burnished them. Now I'm gonna take my scissors and I'm gonna cut up to that score line and then just trim the tabs ever so slightly. Okay, now this little piece here measures, what did I tell you? 3.5 by 1/2. And we're gonna take this new awesome punch. I don't know that I've used this on a video yet. Maybe I've used it once, I'm not sure. It's called the Banners Pick-a Punch. And it is in the holiday catalog. And so we are going to flag the ends of this piece. And it might take me a couple times. There's that one. Okay, sorry about that. I cannot turn my ringer off because just like the emergency room visit the other night, I just can't do it. Too much happens in our family for me to turn my phone off. Okay, so I flagged one end with the Banners Pick a Punch, and then now I'm gonna do the other end. And it's a little too long, so maybe you could cut it to measure 3 by a 1/2 inch instead of 3 1/2. Okay, I'll cut it just one more time. Just a little bit. Sometimes those of us that are a little OCD, we sometimes pretend that we're not, you know, because it's not like we're OCD about everything. It's just certain things. Okay, so back to this. I'm going to take my liquid glue because I can't find any of my other adhesive. And we're going to add it to the tab and fold that in and hold it for a second. I did look for my Stampin' Seal Plus this morning. I did look for that and my scissors, but they're all in the same box together. Okay, so now this is going to fold up like that. So I'm going to put adhesive on these sides. Okay, I'm going to hold that for a second. Thanks, Beth. I love it. It's so pretty. I gave up a large space for a pretty space. I think it's going to be okay though. I think it's all going to work out. It's going to force me to get rid of stuff way more often. Some of the things that we have found during this move has been like, made me really question myself, like, goodness gracious, girl. Well, let me tell you how bad I am about things. I have a couple lights right here on my station, and they have these, it won't reach, but it has this white twist tie thingy, you know, that will tie the cord up. I save those things. Why? I don't need them. So I threw it away this morning. I'm like, no, I'm not saving it for a rainy day. I don't need a twist tie. Those of us that craft, though, I think that we can repurpose anything, you know, like medicine jars and... Okay, enough talking. I'm going to put liquid glue on this. I could really rattle on forever. I could talk all day today for some reason. And I've only had 1 cup of coffee, so it's not that. Okay. So I'm going to position this, I'm going to center it, but maybe slightly more to the bottom. And then I'm going to turn it, make sure it's straight, because since it's liquid glue, you can reposition it until it dries. So now I'm just going to put my hand in there and kind of press, make sure it's stuck. And now we'll do the back side. So same thing. Oh, by the way, let me tell y'all, we have a brand new yard, brand new sod, and somebody drove through our yard yesterday and ripped up our sod. My poor husband is beside himself because he's so anal about our yard, and someone drove right up into it and ripped the sod out and drove off and took some of our sod with them. I swear. And our security camera did not catch it. For some reason, that very edge of our yard is not within the camera. So I'm going to have to call and see if I can get them to adjust that. Yeah, crazy, crazy. Okay, there's our box. It stands. Doesn't matter, front and back, they both look the same. So now we're going to take this 2 3/4 by 2 3/4, and we're going to add it. Now, who would run into your yard, tear up your sod, and not stop and say, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. I will remind them next week. Okay, so here's the top of our box. Not that it matters because this paper is the same pattern, so it don't really matter where you place it, right? Yeah, so we were talking about the yard, the sod. Yeah, if I'd done that, I would be so mortified. I would offer to pay. I would apologize. Oh, okay. So now this is going to go right there in the middle. We suspect it was some worker dude, probably texting, and who knows? Don't know. But every dog has his day, so what more can we say, right? And now I'm going to turn this over, and add a couple dimensionals. And this is gonna go right about there. And then let's take a little bit of crinkle paper. So again, the way that I make this is just some Mossy Meadow cardstock, and I run it through my Fiskars crimper, and then I take my guillotine paper cutter and just whack thin strips. And they're not too terribly thin, because look. But let me show you some candies that will fit in here. So this is Sour Patches. And they'll fit in there, but you kind of have to like fold the sides in. But you can fold that in and then add your crinkle paper on top, and that'll kind of conceal it. But just like the other night, the little Hershey bars will fit in there perfectly. Again, just fold that paper down, and then you take your, your crinkle paper and wad it up, and then just kind of shove it in there. I added too much. Okay, so there's that one. And then here's the one I made this morning. Oh, this one's a little higher than this one. What do you think? Cute, right?